Me really well. Hi guys, once again saying hello because right now the recording seems to have started. I'm very happy to see you today. This is my next attempt, I think attempt number 3 or 4 at LinkedIn Live, and today I would like to talk to you about something extremely interesting, which is money, mindset when it comes to finances, and also business streams. Why do I want to talk to you about something like that on a Sunday afternoon? Well, at least in Hong Kong right now it's 4:40, which is Sunday afternoon. Because people spend their weekends and free time in different ways. And some people love reading books, others hang out with friends, others go to eat something really nice or do window shopping. Apart from all that, I also enjoy watching documentaries, so I do watch a lot of documentaries, I do read a lot of books, but at the same time, in the past 1.5 years, I'm doing a lot of marathons, psychological marathons. I'm doing a lot of coaching where I get myself mentors and they coach me. So basically, I invest at least 1 to 2 hours every weekend, so every day of the weekend, right? Saturday and Sunday, to actually move myself to the next level and expand myself. And this marathon that I'm currently doing is a financial marathon. It's absolutely phenomenal. Unfortunately, it's only available in Russian. That is why I cannot recommend it to a broader and wider audience. But for those that are speaking Russian, definitely check out the financial marathon. You can find it online. So a couple of very interesting findings that I saw, and let me just quickly check whether you actually guys can see me here. Yes, I'm on LinkedIn Live. I see that there are, the post appeared, so that's wonderful. It's working. So why talking about money and why I signed up for this marathon and why I believe that every person who is in business or in leadership or is a working professional right now in 2019 actually needs to do that. Because money is such an important manifestation of your life. Money is contributing to so many areas of your life, including how you view yourself, your relationships with others. It manifests literally throughout your whole life. So many of us have a problem with money and the way to make money, and we have a lot of limiting beliefs, and our psychology when it comes to money is actually borrowed from our environment. It is borrowed from most often from our parents and from our cultures, and very often that mindset, those beliefs are not fit for the world of 2019. And I believe that as an entrepreneur, your job is to expand yourself beyond that. Besides that, entrepreneurs, apart from, bringing the good to the world, and apart from all that, you need to get the fuel. Money is not the end destination, but it is a fuel. It's like you have a rocket and you need to fuel it with something, and that something is money. If ultimately you are a great entrepreneur, you have a great idea, you're bringing joy to the world, but you do not make money, at one point you are going to fail. Your rocket is just going to rust away because you can never launch it because you don't have enough fuel. So entrepreneurs need to learn to make money. If you're a business leader, same thing. You need to learn to make money for your organization. And if you are just basically working in any other area, and if you want to secure your future for for your family and yourself as well, you also need to handle those limiting beliefs, because very often they're literally screwing up what could be an even greater life. Why do we borrow? Why do we need to change all those beliefs? Like, all of us have a background and we all come from somewhere. So we all have that story. Again, it's culture, it's family, it's our parents. And the fact is that our parents lived in a very different time. And they had very different rules that applied to their time. And they passed those beliefs to us, believing that this is going to help us to live our life better and be hurt less often. So for example, as you probably heard, I'm reading Yuval Harari, and I read Kai-Fu Lee, and I love all those great thinkers of this world. And in his recent book, Yuval Harari was saying that his best advice for a 15-year-old is do not listen to your parents, because your parents literally have no idea what the world will be like. So their advice to you, when previously it was relevant, right now it's not relevant anymore. Whatever they advise you to do, how they advise you to behave or think, is not going to be relevant in 10 years from now, right? Previously, your parents could prepare you for the future. Right now, it's not happening. So basically, our parents gave us these beliefs that are not relevant. In my personal case, I was born in the Soviet Union, and it was definitely a very different environment. There were very different relationships with money. Everybody was getting the same, very, very little money. And there was generally this understanding that money is really hard to make. And there was an understanding that you constantly needed to save. And in Soviet Union, especially in my parents' generation, everything changed so quickly. So they were born in the Soviet Union. Then in the early 90s, Soviet Union collapsed. So they lost everything. Like, for instance, my parents, they were waiting for an apartment because you couldn't buy an apartment. The government was supposed to give you an apartment, right? So they were almost given an apartment, but Soviet Union collapsed. So imagine this, you're 40 plus years old, you've got 2 kids and a cat, and suddenly your apartment that was supposed to be yours, given to you, is now being taken away because, yeah, the system collapsed. And then there was the 90s, the huge boom, and it was really bizarre, but there was hope for the future. And then suddenly all of that also somehow faded away with the financial crisis of 97. Then again, the regimes changed. So there were all of these realities shaped how they thought about money, what was normal in their day, what were the rules of the game, etc., etc. So right now I live in Hong Kong. I am traveling globally, and big part of my life was in China and is still connected to China. So the rules of the game there, here, and everywhere else in the world are completely different. So you need to literally examine what are some of those beliefs that you have. What did your parents tell you? Don't just look, if there are some good things, if you come from a really comfortable family, and again, they gave you some belief and you believe all of them are great, but reevaluate them. Because sometimes if you come from a wealthy family, your beliefs about money can also be, okay, my parents are very wealthy, very successful, and I can never be as successful as them. Or yeah, just reevaluate them, at least spend some time. That's very important. And here, yes, hi Jose, I see Jose is here and he's joining me in Portugal. Hello Jose, phenomenal to see you here as well. So when we look into beliefs, he's asking me what are my beliefs about money. I had pretty much very similar beliefs to my parents for the longest time, and that's where the personal growth begins. You start realizing that the rules that worked for you before, the things that were given to you, are not working anymore. So about 2.5 years ago, or even earlier, I think maybe 3 years ago, I started reading a lot of books about it. And about 2 years ago, I started going to all these events. And right now, I'm just constantly growing. I reevaluate my beliefs and I change them, and I expand myself and expand the way I think. So right now, my beliefs about money, honestly, are money come easily and frequently. Money is the most abundant resource out there. I can resolve most of the problems in my life with money, be it let somebody look after my apartment or move to a nicer place, or get somebody to wash the dishes if I don't want to wash them, or gift somebody the joy of, I don't know, gift my people that are close to me a car or something like this. I don't know, all these sound crazy, but for people who are not going through this journey. But essentially, you just change your attitude. Money is a very abundant resource, and there is abundancy everywhere, not just in money. I also want to probably mention here that since I started doing this marathon, I also realized something very transformational for me personally. The fact that money is in fact just a language of the universe. There are different languages of universe with which the universe is communicating with you. And money is just the one that is probably the easiest to feel and the effect of which hits you immediately. So essentially, if you are doing something, but you still financially not successful and you cannot satisfy your desires and your standard is not being reached, and you feel that, oh my God, it's money-wise, it's not great, and be it if you are an entrepreneur or an employee or a leader or whoever, right? That means that the universe is trying to tell you something. That means that you are doing something wrong or everything wrong. And once you are changing your beliefs and you're starting moving in a different direction, and you see that, you know, that the financial flow and your financial standing is improving, that again means that the universe is just saying that yes, that's the way you're moving in the right direction. So that for me was a very, very interesting realization, that again, money is nothing else, it's just energy. And it in fact is the energy of the universe, the way it communicates with you. And you need to, again, be on the same page with it, and you need to constantly improve. So do, by the way, write something below if you see this, if you hear this, if you're liking this. Do ask your questions. Please ask your, also share what is your take on all these points, because I would absolutely love to know. Right now Jose is still there. I see a couple of other people live, but I would love to read you as well, guys. And when it comes to money, so when I started this marathon, I also figured out that there's a lot of resistance there. So usually when you hear people being extremely successful, or you hear about, or somebody opening a new business model, and something is very, very different to what we imagined how money shall be made or how finances shall be managed, etc., we have a huge amount of resistance within us. And that is because one of our fundamental building blocks is now being attacked or shaken. In general, this is the main, I think, rule of personal growth. Once you feel that there is resistance towards, you know, a concept, an idea, or a marathon task, you need to embrace it, you need to run towards your fear, and that's where your biggest growth definitely is. So if you're listening to me right now and you say like, Ashley completely lost her mind, I've got no idea what she's talking about, I mean, yeah, money, you know, there is this and this and this happening in my life, and yeah, money have nothing, my beliefs about money have nothing to do with it, and I don't know how to improve it, and all this language of universe, it's just, yeah, just some crazy concepts that I don't relate with. Think about it again. And if you have that resistance, maybe money and finances are the area that you actually need to focus on and go through personal growth in that area in order to enter a new level. And in that respect, throughout the marathon, we started talking about different sources of income. Different sources of income. And I loved it how one of our tasks was to write down 100 different sources of income. So literally, how can you make money? Most of the people live their life and they get money from salary. They get money from, I do not know, if they live in countries where this is supported, if they have children, they get some children money. And when they retire, they get pension. Or sometimes if something happened with them or their family member or something, then insurance gives them money. And these are the major three ways to achieve it. But in fact, there are so many others, right? Like starting a business. Break it down into how many different businesses you can have. You can start selling art, your own art. You can start painting that. You can create a little IP. You can create a little Hello Kitty. You can put it on the t-shirt and ask whoever is using that image pay you royalties. You can write a book. You can, I do not know, purchase an island and create your own government, right? And let people pay for citizenship. There are so many ways. And that exercise was actually phenomenally useful because it forced me and other participants of the marathon to think about all these sources of income. And in my post just now, I wrote about the sources of income in China and how China expands you. When I got to mainland China when I was 17 years old, I was completely blown away because everybody was hustling. China is very pragmatic, and in China generally prosperity is a big thing. They are not ashamed. They are proud to make money because it is glorified to be successful, especially since Deng Xiaoping reform being prosperous was glorious, right? The more prosperous you are, the more prosperous China becomes as well. And it was phenomenal to see how everybody was hustling. They sold fruits on the street. They were, I do not know, in Chongqing, for instance, there were those guys coming out of the village, and they didn't have many skills, but they had this bamboo stick, and they would basically help you carry your shopping groceries, and they would charge from 3 to 5 yuan, and they would just walk behind you carrying those. So everybody was a solo entrepreneur. Everybody was trying to make money. And of course, some of those entrepreneurs went on becoming extremely wealthy. They built factories, they created huge international businesses. Some of those solo entrepreneurs still bettered their life. And that is why, China, right now, the success of China is a combination between Chinese policies and the government pulling people out of poverty. At the same time, the individual level, like in the US, we are working our way out of poverty and lifting ourselves. So it's both the government and themselves, the people themselves taking charge of it. So in China, it's phenomenal to see how easily people, first of all, pursue money. It's admirable how innovative they are. They see an idea, they see something happening right now, and they jump on that opportunity. I was sharing the other day on LinkedIn the fact that that Robin Lee was recently attacked with water during a Beijing tech conference. So every year Baidu holds this big conference. It's a little bit like Apple Reveal conference, right, where they talk about their technology innovation and where the company is going. So right during his speech, Robin Lee, who is the founder of Baidu, was attacked by a gentleman who got on stage and basically poured a bottle of water all over his head. And Robin actually looked down at the person and said, "What's your problem?" in English. And instantly, basically the same day, it became an international online sensation in China, not international, within China. And on that same very date, you could buy t-shirts with "What's your problem?" and a little meme here on Taobao. You could also see that a lot of advertisers hopped on those news and started sharing them as their social advertising. So water brands, for instance, advertising that you can actually make a huge splash with just this bottle of water. Very, very interesting, very entrepreneurial, and they think differently. We overthink businesses, and we very often are uncomfortable starting new business streams. Think about entrepreneurs. Right now in China, if people are starting a business, they try to aim to at least 7 business models. Most of Western businesses, when they go into business, you're a startup, you are lucky if there is 1 or 2 sound business models. You actually know how to make money. Many other people, they start businesses, especially in some countries, with some funding. They have a concept, but it's not a business. They don't know how to ultimately make money, right? So this is where we are. And essentially making sure that you expand your thinking, and you just spend, let's say, 40 minutes, 30 minutes, 20 minutes to just sit down and write down in your book what are all the ways of making money you can think of. If you're diligent enough, you're going to write minimum 100 to 200 points that you can use to make money, or generally that exist in the world to make money, right? And some of them can be funny, some of them can be very close to you, very easy, very understandable. You can be a model, you can create an IP, you can write a book, as I said, you can start a business, and there are all these different sorts of businesses. You can charge people money for introduction, for connecting them together. You can charge somebody $100,000 for lunch with you, etc., etc., etc. So it's very, very, very interesting, I believe. I see a couple of other questions here on LinkedIn. Unfortunately, they are arriving a bit slower. So, sources of income, right? Now, in our marathon, we were also asked to think about what can we, how can we basically, within our current realm of qualification, think of a new business model and new ways to do that. And I believe that was extremely useful, and I recommend you to do that as well. So if, for example, you are a consultancy, what else can you do? What other product or service, what other business stream can you introduce? Minimum seven, and then start launching them. And you will see that it's extremely easy, and it's actually, as long as it's ecological, as long as you're bringing value, as long as you are truly determined to make the world better through whatever you're doing. You're not trying to rob anyone or give a crappy product, etc. You're trying to better people's life. That's going to definitely work. I see just a couple of people online watching right now, and I read some of your comments, guys. I thought that we could also brainstorm together, because one of the points of my marathon right now is that they gave me a certain amount and they said, Ashley, and right now you need to make this amount of money without basically within a week, but it shall be in a way that you've never made money before. And I was thinking, what could that be? Because I recently launched my WhatsApp group. So for me already, about 3 weeks ago, I launched my first WhatsApp group. That was like the whole new world, a completely different thing. Because previously I made money through, yes, I have an agency. So we take a project, we execute a project. I made money through a strategy where we take again a project and we know what to research and how to prepare a strategy, and we give it back. I made money through trainings where I come in and I train together with my team, another team. I made money through keynotes where I come in, get on stage and basically perform and get money for that. I got money from books. So I already felt that, I've got 5 to 6 to 7 different ways to make money. But 3 weeks ago, I launched the WhatsApp group, which is a subscription model for the first time ever. And it is extremely, extremely successful and very, very fun. I couldn't even think. I thought it was for somebody else, but not for me, right? So now all these obvious ways to, obvious ways, business streams are taken. Now, what could be some other ones? Think about it and give me your ideas. I keep trying to check your comments because they are appearing a bit later here. But do let me know, what are some other financial models that you think a person could use? They gave us a week, and I need to make around $5,000 in this 1 week with something that I've never, in a way that I've never made money before. I even thought about selling some of my art. And then me and my husband, we are moving to a new home real soon. And then I was just speaking with him. He said, maybe you need to sell our old furniture. Okay, this is one way. What other ways do you think are there? What other ways? Guys, please comment below. A friend of mine was recently also going through a similar marathon, and she auctioned a dinner with herself. So you basically auction a dinner or a few dinners with yourself, and people bid to buy. Somebody recommended me to run a mentorship program, and I do mentor people. So they said, how about you offer, a mentorship for one person, and they need to bid for this specific amount. But again, this is something that I've done before, so I don't think it counts. Do you have any ideas, guys, how to make $5,000 in a way I've never made that money before? And also think about yourself. Just keep expanding, keep growing in that respect, because as I mentioned, it is a huge, huge area that affects all areas of your life, and you need to get rid of those limiting beliefs. You need to also expand the way you view financial business models, money, and that energy in general. I enjoy this exploration. I will be honest with you, it is uncomfortable. It is very, very uncomfortable because we don't like change. The human beings are still an ape in African Sahara, right? That we don't like uncertainty. And it is very, very uncomfortable putting yourself out there and being like, okay, let us try, let us do that. But it is essentially the right way to go. Just like those LinkedIn lives. Right now it's like 25 minutes, and believe me, it's quite uncomfortable at times to just stare at the camera and I don't see your immediate responses. I see some of the comments, but not all of them because there's a huge delay. So I believe there are 30 or 40 people watching right at this very moment. There are a couple of comments, but essentially I don't, I don't see that I'm interacting with you in like real time. And I'm still, I still keep it running, still keep it going. I'm sure that once there is, maybe it's the timing, maybe I try also a bit later when more people are online, and maybe the technology will also improve with LinkedIn, so the comments will appear more rapidly. But essentially, some things are uncomfortable, but you need to do them because they expand you, they grow you, and they make you better. So this is my big message for today. Thank you very, very much for being with me here. I see Marta here. Let me read a couple of comments here and we'll see where this conversation is taking us. So Marta is saying, Ashley, no questions for now, but you have no idea how powerful your live sessions are. Way to go. Thank you for being here. I had a similar approach to money growing up in the former communistic bloc myself. It's hard to change people deeply rooted beliefs and approaches to money. Marta, thank you so much. I'm glad that you are enjoying these live sessions, and I'm glad that you're also going through a similar journey. And believe me, it's not only the Soviet, bloc that gave us some inherited beliefs about money. My husband, for instance, is from Germany, and he comes from a upper middle class family, and he's got a lot of beliefs, about financials that are also limiting. They are different. They are not as disturbing, I would say, as Soviet beliefs. But for example, he believes that money can be saved. You need to save. You need to always get a good deal. It doesn't matter how much you have now, but you need to, you need to be reasonable, right? But that also puts you in a certain box. It doesn't mean you need to be reckless, but if you can afford something and you want it, why shall you limit yourself? Right? If you are investing in something that grows you, right, you need to allow yourself to spend that money on it, right? So I believe that everyone, doesn't matter where they come from, how old they are, young or slightly older, they have the beliefs, especially in this area, that they need to work on. And while we are at it, let me tell you what are the three groups of people. There are only three types of people when it comes to financial awareness or financial mindset. So the first type of people, they believe that money can be earned, that you go and you basically work for somebody and somebody pays you money, or you can borrow money from somebody, or the money can be given to you, as I mentioned, by the government or by insurance company, etc., etc. So these people believe that this is the first step of financial mindset and, let's say, awareness. They believe that money can be earned. And for the longest time, I think all of us been at that level where we exchange our hours and our abilities and ourselves for a certain payment. The second type of people are the people that believe that money, if you want to have money, money can be saved. So even if they get the same salary as the people in the first group, they usually do not borrow from others and they don't give money to others. They usually still find ways to be more prosperous because they just know how to smartly segment their money, invest their money, grow their money, and basically they believe in that multiplication. They believe in saving, and that's the main driver of prosperity in their world, right? So again, it's about the drive of prosperity. The first group believes I can earn money, only earn, and you will understand that really big money cannot be earned, It needs to be made, and that's exactly the third group of people. So the third group of people, they believe that you can make money, and more money make more money. And probably the easiest example here would be Donald Trump. He was born in the family where, again, certain attitude towards financial stability and generally money was introduced to him. So he believes that he can make money. He can, write a little post note like this and he can sell it for $1 million. He was bankrupt 6 times, if I'm not mistaken, and right now he claims that his personal brand costs $4 billion, Honestly, who put that number on it? How can he claim that? He was able to, again, rebuild himself, and he has a strong belief. We don't need to agree with his policy or like him as a human being, but you cannot deny that in terms of financial awareness and how he thinks about it, he has a very interesting relationship with money, right? He definitely believes money can be made. And of course, these people very often have a lot of money, and they are easier on the way to, they can lose it all as well, but they will always and can always bring it back up, because they believe that this is just a resource that is in flux and it can be created at any given time. So essentially, for you yourself, anybody who is going through this exercise and growth, try to determine also first, where are you? Honestly, not by where I want to be on level 3, but where are you? How do you live your life? Do you live your life day to day in a way that you are earning money, in the way that you are saving money, or in the way that you are making money, creating money, right? And essentially, I believe this is a very, very interesting topic. I now see a bit more of your comments here as well. Let me see. Yeah, here, Peter says, we could sell air from Europe. Oh my God, Peter, that's a phenomenal idea. Actually, a friend of mine here in Hong Kong, he's a cafe pilot, and he was actually in that business. If I'm not mistaken, his mom was from the UK. He's from the UK, and his mom had a farm in the UK. And they actually sold European, British air in the jars in Europe, from the UK in China. So that's another great idea, Peter. Thank you very much. We might go into that business, but I only have 1 week. I only have 1 week until the 15th to make those $5,500 US, and I don't think we can arrange the whole operation by then. But yes, this is an awesome idea. Here we are. Peter says, yes, hello from Slovakia. This is the Eastern Bloc. And here we say, I see Brenda. Brenda, hello as well. Does it have to be, she's asking me, Brenda is asking me whether it needs to be something to what I'm doing already. No. So that's exactly the point. It can be related to China. It can be related to, influence. It can be related to women. I'm very much into women in leadership, but I'm not really monetizing that particular area yet. But it can be anything else. As I mentioned, I can sell my own art right now that I'm painting. And for those guys that you see over there, there are some of my paintings. Maybe somebody wants to bid. It's extremely funny. Yes, Brenda, so it doesn't need to be related to that. Brenda is also saying financial models. I did an exercise like this on innovation recently, how to redesign an umbrella. I suppose I could do the same thing with business models. Absolutely. Redesigning the umbrella, redesigning business model, or thinking about additional business models. Like, our businesses are essentially like a table, and it can have, most of the businesses have this, table with one leg in the middle, and if you touch it, it's going to tilt and fall. Some people have a table with 2 legs, so it's a bit more stable. Others with 3, etc., etc. But when we're talking about business in 2019, very often you need all 7 of those legs to be stable, to be strong, and to be able to prosper, survive, and then constantly innovate from there onwards. So 7 business models is definitely the way to go. Brenda is also saying, do you need to perform the skill or service at the same time that the payment is made? I believe I need to, I believe I just need to sell this service or product. And then I can deliver it later, I guess. But essentially, the deal needs to be complete within this week. So that makes it very, very interesting. I think I'm going to spend a couple of minutes right now also contemplating and thinking about it. Ooh, I see a lot more of your comments right now. I think this topic was, was picked up by a couple of people. Rosita, I see your beautiful link. I will definitely check it out. Thank you very, very much. So here we talk about Instagram and how people on Instagram are basically selling their time, and they are selling different products, I believe. I see David here. Poor example with Trump. His father gave him 420 million. Statistically, he has lost more than he's made. What you said, however, is correct. Thank you very much, David. Yes, his father gave him the money and he, yes, lost on average. But essentially, what I mean with Trump, and I mean, I'm not saying that he's a phenomenal entrepreneur, you know. What I'm saying is that he was born, for sure, in the family where they believed all that money can be made, right? And hence he lives his life with such level of financial freedom, not just because the money was given. He lost and he made, he lost, he made, but essentially in terms of mindset, he believes, he's not at a level where he believes the money, in order to have money, you need to save them or you need to earn them. He really, in my understanding, believes that money can be made, and he hence makes his, choices as he does. Right. I see more and more comments here. Nadine, Nadine, thank you very much. What about e-learning businesses? Yes, e-learning businesses. Very good point. Actually, I am going to launch, maybe this is the one, but it's something that I was already planned, so it feels a little bit like cheating, because I have recorded my master classes. I teach basically Chinese social media, digital marketing in China as a course, as an offline course for 2 days. And then this past 3 times when I led them offline, I recorded videos, and I'm gonna put together the best modules. So there's gonna be about 7 to 8 modules online, and I'm gonna sell it as an online kind of access, as an online course with a certificate. So it is already planned, and this is something that I wanted to do. But you're right, I've never actually sold anything like that before. I never had it as a product. So maybe this e-learning, let's say business or e-learning offering could in fact cut it. Now you made me thinking, maybe it feels a little bit like cheating, but maybe this is actually something that's gonna work. Guys, I see you all there, and I see more and more comments already. Reviewed some of them, but it takes some time scrolling. Thank you very, very, very much. Oh, Brenda says, you could teach people how to do marketing in China directly. I'd buy your teachable course, especially if live streamed. Thank you very much, Brenda. I think unexpectedly I got my first student for that already today. You see, this is universe working, universe just working. I will definitely launch. It's not going to be a live streamed course, but it is a video course, and we already planned it a while back. So maybe I just need to speed it up and launch it within next week to make sure that I reach my goal and complete my task. Meanwhile, guys, I once again thank you all very, very much for being with me this half an hour. I had a lot of fun, and thank you very much for your support as well. I'm new to LinkedIn Live and generally having these live conversations where comments are a little bit delayed. Again, as I mentioned, it's a little bit uncomfortable, and I don't believe that I'm yet doing a phenomenal job, but I'm glad that you're getting value out of it, and I'm also having tons of fun, and I'm learning. So thank you so much for your support. We're gonna see each other next time at LinkedIn Live and through my videos. Meanwhile, have a phenomenal Sunday and a phenomenal, phenomenal week ahead. We'll chat real soon, and bis gleich.